Hey, howdy, hey, folks. It is Mrs. Johnson with the Agri Wisdom Channel. We're doing FFA lullabies still in the cattle country of Peter French. We just read the California Beginnings chapter, and I'm here to show you the photos of that chapter, and read the the context. What's that word? Anyway, of the photos. We have a photo of Steen's mountain country. The Oregon Steen's country. Surrounded by sloping hills where grass grows as high as a man's stirrups. Seemed like cattle heaven to Peter French when he first looked down on it in the summer of 1872. So, let's see. Ta-da! I should really get a new camera. It's on the list. I'm getting one. With my next paycheck, I think. Which is like next week. Even though it's Christmas time, so. Happy Christmas to me. Okay. Let's see. What are these photos? Top left. Catlow Valley Road. This region, named for John Catlow, an early Harney stockman, is part of the country Peter French traveled through when he drove his first California herd north. That's what this one up here is. And they're all in black and white in here. So, just so you know, it's on my camera. That should be obvious. I'm not in black and white. The photos are. Silly goose of me. Okay. This bottom photo. Part of Peter French cattle country, now the home of nesting grounds for millions of wild birds. Down here, that one. A lot of rice country in California, like northern Central Valley, is wetlands for wild birds, and farmers can get funding for that and stipends and crazy stuff. Let me know if you want to hear about it. And then we've got two photos on the next page. We have a lot of photos to go through. Two photos of the picturesque Harney Lake at the Narrows. The name suggested by the narrow channel connecting the Harney and Mulhare lakes. Mark Brenton claimed that when he kicked some sand around at the reef in the high water period of 1881, he started Mulhare draining westward into Harney Lake. Others say that the action was started from natural causes. That's this one. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. It's the lake. I think I've seen that lake. I think I drove by that lake when I went up to Oregon. I don't know. I've been to Oregon once, guys. It was a very lovely experience. I had a lot of fun. This next photo is of Steen Mountain, which is south of the Alvord Ranch. The mountain was named after Major Enoch Steen, who headed a military expedition into southern Oregon in 1860. The ranch takes its name from a desert, both honoring General Benjamin Alvord, prominent in the early Indian Wars of eastern Oregon. This top one is that photo. Okay, next one. A small bunch of calves east of the Steens when stock was being changed to Hereford from the ruin that prevailed in the 90s. Note how the snow is still holding on the top of that more than 900-foot range. Ooh, hold on. Ooh. I am sore. This bottom photo. See? Look. Cows. I should get a new camera. I'm showing you these photos. I might re-record this with a better camera because I thought it was fine. I don't think it's fine anymore. Now that I'm like trying to show you cool things anyway. Next page. The above photo is looking at the scenes from a dry lake bed at its eastern base. Elevation of the peak is 9,354 feet, and it is more than 5,000 feet above the lake bed. The bottom picture, is looking down from the Steens and eastwards towards the far-flung expanse of the Alvord Desert, which itself is 4,000 feet above sea level. This view is on the opposite side of the range from the Molehair Refuge. That's what this page is. So this one is the lake looking at the mountains, and then this one is the mountains looking at the desert, I think is what I said. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So I can show you both of these pages. So all at the same time, I think. No, I'm going to separate it. Next page is a cool photo of cows. See? Just a bunch of cows. And it reads, "To a true cowman, a cow is a sort of creature that must be carefully tended, provided with proper water and food, and cared for in sickness. When she is sold, the cowman follows her up the ramp to the freight car with a touch of guilt in his heart. For mere pelf, he is parting with something he liked and respected. Such a cowman was Peter French." Yeah, it's... When I grew cows, I really enjoyed their company. And they're like big, stupid dogs. And it does get tough to get rid of them. Next page are pictures of people. John William Peter French, most famous of the Western cattlemen, controlled a 200,000-acre range empire in the Donner and Blitzen Valley of southeastern Oregon. When in 1897, a bullet fired by an irate settler ended his meteoric career. This is his only known photograph. Dun dun dun! Below, bottom photo, is Dr. Hugh James Glenn, partner and financial backer of Peter French. He was recognized as Wheat King of the Western world when, in 1833, he was shot to death by an angry bookkeeper. His daughter Ella, Peter's wife, presented this photograph to the Willows Library in California. Ta-da! Peter French and Dr. Glenn, who refused to be called doctor. He was like, not. Anyway, Peter French, only photo of him, Dr. Glenn. Cattleman, financial guy for said cattleman. Oh, we got a lot more photos to go through. I thought this was going to be a quick video. This is going to be like a while. Okay. We got more cows. Look at there. The subtitle. Caption. That's what those things are called. They're called captions. Cowboys bringing in the cows and calves for branding in the Peter French country of southeastern Oregon. Roping and branding is still done on the open range here, as it was in the days when French ran the P Ranch. Almost a century ago, French set a pattern for modern cow ranches, with emphasis on improving both the land and cattle by the best scientific methods available. Cool, cool, cool. Next page is a horse corral fence made out of stout juniper posts, similar to many of the fences that French constructed. I've seen these, actually, where I'm from. They're not terribly common, but you do still run into them sometimes. It's like a lot easier to get wood where I'm from, because I live in the forest, compared to southeastern Oregon, where a lot of it's just like flat, and there's not a lot of trees that grow. It's just kind of flat with grass. Anyway. 2 more photos on the next page. The top one is an aerial view of the P Ranch taken before 1898, showing the brush corrals and the long horse barn, which still stands. The White House is hidden among the poplars beyond the barn at the left. Okay. I'll show that photo to you since there's a lot of detail. I don't know if you can see it. So these are the bush corrals, and then this is the barn that they said is still standing. There's a White House back here, right there. And I assume these are the poplars, which is a type of tree. Okay. The bottom photo is a old feed rack for cattle, built entirely out of juniper posts. Juniper is a really common tree up in Oregon, from what I'm hearing, down over here. So essentially very similar construction to this. It's just like the V's that you can still get in metal now, usually, is what they're made out of, but very similar construction to a lot of the stuff that you would maybe buy at the feed store or see on like modern ranches now. It's very common design. Okay. More stuff. We have a close-up of the long horse barn, which Peter French built from hewn aspen and juniper timbers about 1880. It is still in excellent condition, except for some lost shingles. It says to note how straight the ridgepole has remained. There's a picture of the interior of the long barn showing a solid construction framework. So this is the interior. And this is a close-up of that barn. You can see that a lot of those boards are still really straight. Really solid stuff. Anyway. More photos. We have a top photo. With the caption, Peter French sent freight teams like this photo south to Surprise Valley and north to Blue Mountains to haul supplies back to his ranches. These trips had to be made during the summer, and the load limited to but a few tons. That's so interesting. And then there's a close-up of the freight wagon, dating from the pioneer days of the Steene Mountains country, when they were the only means of getting supplies into that remote region. So, as I said, the whole you have to buy cattle, I think in my last video, you have to buy meat where they can process cattle. This is why, right? This is what you're carrying food and stock and things back on. And look at this. This photo, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 horses here. 10 mules? There's probably mules. This is a team of 10. And there's at least 3 of these freight wagons back there. That's wild. This is how they fed people. It wasn't just a trip to the grocery store. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. There's no Walmart in the county, there's no Target in the county, no Starbucks, no fast food, no nothing, right? And so I grew up, if I wanted school supplies or needed, like, if I wanted fast food, anything like that, if I needed, like, something, like, right now, before Amazon was a thing, like, I was driving a couple hours to get it. And, like, this is wild. Like, this isn't driving a couple hours to get something. This is, like, literally, like, I'm gonna send a team, like, once or twice a year. And they're probably gonna be gone, like, a week. Ish. You know? Like, that's wild. Okay. Okay. We've got 3 more pages of photos. We're gonna look at them. And then we'll be all done. Top one is an early photo of a round barn on the P Ranch. But it looks the same today. The entrance to the left led directly to the stone corral in the center, and was presumably the only entrance when French's vaqueros were breaking horses then. So, see, it's like a covered arena, and they would enter through this way, and this door was not there. There are 2 views of the French's beef wheel near the long barn. The wheel is still occasionally used. Animal carcasses were hauled up by the gambrel, seen hanging from the rope at the end of the shaft. The shaft was then turned by rope on the square frame. If French learned that a family was short on meat in the winter, he would send half a beef over to them. But more often the settler took care of that problem himself. Okay, so, right, this is how they strung up cattle back in the day. So, this is like, you can't see it, but there's a rope that comes down this way, and they would hang it up. And they would hang it until the meat was, like, cool, because when you butcher stuff, you have to let it hang until the body heat is gone. Otherwise, it's not meat yet. And they would turn this big square to get it pulled up. And this is probably quite tall, considering that they're in a bunch of flat land. There's probably not trees that you can hang carcasses in. And so this is probably tall enough that they can get it up out of reach of things like coyotes and like some of the things that would like to eat meat that you have sitting out. Let's see. We have another photo of the interior view of the round barn with a close-up on the center post, showing its construction, the construction of the braces that hold up the middle, like, roof section. Ta-da! It's, like, in the very center, from what I understand. Last page of photos! We have a photograph on the top of Fort, in parentheses, Camp Harney, was taken in 1872, the year that Peter French first rode into the Harney Basin. Just 6 years later, settlers fled here to escape from the Paiutes and Banooks, who were raiding ranches, killing and burning. French earlier purchased the sawmill that A.H. Robbie had used to make the lumber for the camp buildings. So, you've got cattle and you've got timber. Those things, at least in my region, like in the forested region, those things kind of go hand in hand. When you have valleys, you put cattle in them. When you have mountains, you do the timber. And, like, those things are, like, very, how would I put this? Like, very frontiersman-esque agriculture things to do. I'll just put it that way. And that's that top photo. See, I want a new camera. Look. This is so bad. I'm getting a new camera. Okay. Last photo, I promise, is of Winnemucca, Nevada in 1868, a few years before French began driving his cattle to markets. Dun, dun, dun. So a lot of these photos are like up and coming in our reading. But yeah, we will talk next week. Do some more bedtime reading. I thought I was gonna get another chapter done, but I'm tired. It's Christmas night. Did a bunch of Christmas stuff today, and I'm tired. So I'm gonna let this be and read to you maybe tomorrow. Maybe with my husband. Maybe I'll make my husband read with me. Anyway, yeah. I hope we learned something. I hope the photos were okay. Comments, questions, concerns, drop them in the comments below. If you have advice, pointers, things of that nature, let me know. If you want me to read something, let me know. Whatever. Like, subscribe, do the things. I hope you learned something. Have a great day, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. We're here for it. We like the holidays. Yay! People, family, friends. I hope you have those things in your life. Okay, bye. Thank you for having a lovely educational evening with me.